What's a seasoning? And we saw you come with your seasoning in your Ziploc bag.
That's right.
Ziploc bag got me in the chokehold too. What
Ooh.
is a seasoning you cannot live without?
I mean, you need some Lowry's.
Oh, come on. Come to the cookout then. Go ahead. Invite him to
Come on.
get his.
And
Yeah.
that shit ain't cheap.
No,
you
for
get
sure.
some smoked paprika.
I know.
It's $10.99.
Yeah.
That's really why people not seasoning their food.
Because they can't
They
afford the
can't
season.
afford it. All right, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor, and I am joined today by my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner.
Hey.
We are back, and we are still, believe it or not, talking all things Married at First Sight. But we're super excited about this episode today because we are being joined
Yes.
by a special guest.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get into it, I always tell you guys what's going on in our pregnancy and everything like that. I cried today because I wanted beef bacon. I'm about to cry about it again. This really upset me today, guys. I wanted beef bacon, but the beef bacon was in the freezer and the turkey bacon was in the fridge. It was just a whole thing. I had acid reflux last night, made wonderful spaghetti. It did not sit well with me. And I woke up hungry, and Joe wouldn't let me get a burrito. So I had to cook my own breakfast.
Don't say that. Your stomach can't handle a lot. So that's why I just suggested she do something lighter because she wanted that pasta so bad yesterday. And
I wanted it bad.
Yeah.
It did not want me back.
Yeah.
And that was like really not okay. So talking about things that don't want things back, let's dig on in. We are joined today.
Yeah.
Okay. By the Alan from season 18 of Married at First Sight.
Yes. What's up, man?
Pleasure to see you guys. You know,
Yes.
Zar, I don't think I actually got a chance to meet you. Joe, pleasure to see you again from the after party.
Yes, it's so good to see you again. We're actually really excited that you are here, and even to have the opportunity to have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we're huge fans of the show. Tertiary to that, we've become a huge fan of yours. At least I have.
Yeah. We do these shows a lot and we analyze and we give some constructive criticisms and all that thing. But this was a special season because we actually got to meet, you guys. And I told people when we first started touching on this show that Alan presents as in person as he does on the show. And I just felt that, sometimes you get a representative where you see somebody and you're like, he plays the good guy on camera. But then when you meet him, he's a jerk. Alan is not that way. And so I immediately appreciated that after meeting you and then watching you on the show. I just appreciate that. I felt like you showed up as authentically yourself. And so that was cool.
Yeah. I will say I'm an old enough man where I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
Be something other than just myself.
Yeah.
It takes energy to put a story together, put your own, script or whatever you want to do. And that whole situation, it's not why I signed up. It's not me. It's not worth my time except to represent myself as I am. And my philosophy being, hey, I signed up for something that I'm looking for in this life. Why would I give anybody something other than what the real me is? Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. I want to ask you before we get into this season, you mentioned the script and presenting and kind of we like to say producing themselves. How did you feel about what happened was it last season when they basically caught the whole cast being in cahoots trying to produce themselves for TV? Like, how did you feel about that?
So back in the day, I used to watch the show quite regularly, like season by season. I think I stopped watching around season 13.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't see the last season, but I saw the snippets, on social media or, when I was being interviewed to be a part of it. I did see and research a little bit about what was going on. it's a dual judgment, I think. Prior to being on the show, okay, everybody can speculate. Well, they're trying to make themselves look good. They want to get some gain out of it. How can I monetize this?
Yes.
How can I do this? How can I do that? Whatever each of those individuals have their goal. How do I use this show as leverage? However, after being a part of Married at First Sight, my perception has changed where, and it's been demonstrated on my season as well, where you're presented a situation and how do I respond to it? Now it's not turning out how I want. So now it's self-preservation. I think that's a big thing, is self-preservation. And if people find that comfort in the group setting, and then that group preserves themselves and, they have their alliance. Nobody's been on TV before.
Yeah.
Nobody's understood how to process and deal with these situations. And a lot of people do find comfort in, hey, if I'm on the same team as these other individuals, then maybe I won't look like an asshole.
And for our viewers, I'm certain you've answered this question a million times. One, I want to know why you stopped watching Married at First Sight.
So why I stopped? I'm a busy person,
Okay.
You got shit to do.
I got shit to do.
Period.
I've got my career, which I was highly invested in. I bought a couple. I invested in a restaurant.
Nice.
I opened up another restaurant. We were trying to work on that. Me and my partners. So like I'm an anime guy. I watch a lot of anime. So when I at the end of the day, and I'm done doing my shit. I'm in the middle of a home renovation right now.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
At the time, it was my prior condo I was rebuilding from like studs down. I don't have time, and when I want to zone out, like I'll go into I gotta watch One Piece,
Oh yes, we're definitely.
or I gotta watch, like now it's Solo Leveling or
Yes.
Dragon Ball Daima or something like that. So I nerd out in my own little zone, and that's where my head just. And then you wake up fresh the next day, do it again.
That's what, I get that, because everybody wants us, like, we now watching Married at First Sight, it seems like not like an obligation, but something we're doing to kind of like have these conversations with our like all of our audience. But the other part of it is the scripted stuff we watch, like Severance. Everybody's like, we want you guys to talk about scripted stuff, but that's like hours. Like,
yeah.
When we want to decompress,
We super locked in. Yeah,
we are locked into like scripted TV like that. So when you say that, like, I understand, like, sometimes reality TV is too real, and you need a break.
Yeah, and you gotta use whatever works for you to decompress. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it is a guilty pleasure, reality TV.
Oh yeah.
Like I am. Like when I'm cooking or when I'm doing like cleaning up the kitchen or doing whatever, I'll put background noise, and maybe it's more like 90 Day or something like that.
Yes, love God.
I forget their names. I'm not that invested because it's background noise.
Yeah.
But there's something going on where somebody got pregnant from, I don't even know.
From 90 Day?
It's one of the 90 Day.
It's in that whole world, because they got 50,000 shows.
There's 10 different.
Yeah.
That actually I had no idea, Zar, that you're pregnant.
Yes.
To you both.
Thank you.
That's freaking amazing.
Well, it's funny because when we originally met, we didn't.
Oh,
no, when we met Alan, I would hope so. No, when we met, right. No, when we originally met, you were not, right? We hadn't found out that. Yeah, so it's been a whole development since we last saw you.
Exactly. So I want to know, Alan, from me watching you, I actually grew to kind of like, I'm like, what is wrong with these women? Like, I saw you as a catch, and that's just from like, when I think about the things that you need, the foundations of like really building a relationship with someone, I felt that you had those traits. Dating in Chicago, What kind of drew you to deciding to be on Married at First Sight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. It wasn't really a decision. So one of my brothers from another mother, right? I've known this guy for almost 25 years now. And his wife I've known for like 22, I think, 21 years. Um, she was the one that was like, hey, she's seen me through my ups, my downs, my happy, my eclectic, my party, like all my different vibes. And she knows me as a human being. She's like my sister from another mister.
Yeah.
That's she was like, hey, they're casting in Chicago. You're the dude that like you're authentically yourself. You people love you. You have a good shot of being successful, with your endeavors, and this aligns with what you're trying to find. Um, and I'm like, come on, nobody's gonna want to see me. And then, one day, a month later, she's like, did you ever apply? Did you ever apply? I'm like, nah, it's a fun thought. It's a fun thought, but no, I haven't. And then I got home from dinner, and I'm sitting with my little Luffy. And number one, it's Luffy.
Luffy,
He's
badass Luffy.
Let me tell you,
he's the king of the
we was
pirates.
giving Luffy hell. We was giving Luffy hell.
I was giving
I know
But you know
everybody
what?
was, but I
Luffy
want
was
everybody.
disturbed. She was disturbing Luffy's spirit. That's really what it is.
But
Luffy knew something that we all didn't know. Okay.
Well, okay, and to be fair, Luffy was only like 7 or 8 months old at that time. And everybody saw his balls.
yes,
So he actually didn't have balls at that time. He just literally got neutered while I was on the honeymoon. My dad took him to get neutered, and it's just he had swollen red balls from the surgery a couple days before.
whoa.
But no, he was a puppy. He was a little maniac. But he's a good boy. He's the most loving everything. Oh wow, sorry, I go on so many tangents here.
Listen,
No, you're fine.
this is the place for that because that's
Yeah.
how we are too.
Yeah, so basically, I came home. I'm snuggling Luffy. I'm watching my little shows, and she's like, "Do it." She texted me. She's like, "Do it," and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll give it a shot, see how it goes. And then I honestly didn't think it was going to be a thing. You get one interview, and okay, that was fun. It was fun to be in consideration.
Yeah, for sure.
However, after the second interview, they're like, don't change who you are. Don't change who you are. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to be on the damn show.
Yes, you are.
Wow.
but
That's
the
crazy.
reality is there was about, 15 hours of interviews. And in that first hour or two, I'm like, shit, I got to start preparing myself, mentally.
Yes.
So it's so funny because we love Chicago.
Love.
But obviously we have not been singles in Chicago, right? So what is it like dating in Chicago? What's the Chicago single scene?
Oh,
Or
Lord.
what was?
Right.
It's a big city, right?
Yeah.
You get a little bit of everything. Just prior to the show and like a year and a half before the show, I'm already like at the time I was 35. I'm in my mid 30s. I'm a single. I consider myself relatively attractive. I've got a good career. I live a good lifestyle. I'm active. I do all, like I thought I was a good catch as well.
Yes,
Um,
I thought so.
As you should.
Damn
But-
right.
Period.
Stand on it.
Exactly.
But it comes down to the apps is really the only outlet.
Ooh,
Um,
I hate the app
and
culture.
because I'm busy, like I'm not just sitting here at a bar or a
Yeah,
restaurant,
for
yeah.
sure.
picking up women.
But did
which
you meet
is-
people like were you outside when you was before the show as a single man in Chicago, which I think part of the reason why I love it is it's a young professional. It gives young professional city. Like if
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
single, in my mind.
Yeah.
So were you outside at all? Like were
Oh yeah.
you going to events, meeting women at different events, meeting the young
Well,
professionals?
I'm a social guy, so like when I would like, I mean, I used to live like right on Lakeshore in Irving, so I'd be
Oh
at like
yeah.
I'd be at like Montrose Beach Bar. We'd go to North Avenue Bar. But when I go, like I'm a social person,
Yeah.
so I go with a couple of my friends. And when I go out, it's because I enjoy the company of my friends, and I want to enjoy my day. I'm not out there like, oh,
On the prowl.
who's the
Hunting.
next
Yeah.
target,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like if something organically happens, it organically happens, which is interesting because that's how I met the woman that I'm with now is just organically.
Right.
Nice.
It's a scene. It's challenging to navigate because you can be taken advantage of, in certain environments. If you put yourself out there a certain way, if you put yourself out there the opposite way, then you don't. You're not seen the same way. So it's challenging to navigate. So I actually did. I hired a matchmaker before the show.
No
Um,
way.
yeah. So that it was what it was.
I love that.
That
And
I don't hear that a lot. So that's pretty cool. And we love the Miss Auntie that's on Netflix.
Indian Matchmaker.
Indian Matchmaker. We
oh yeah.
I aspire
Did you
to be
watch
her.
that? Have you
I
seen that
aspire
show?
to be
I've seen
her.
it. I've seen it.
Yes.
I love that. So that's cool.
What is your zodiac sign, Alan?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm
He like me.
for all I know, I'm like an avocado or what asparagus or something.
Nah,
I'm just curious because
I don't know. I'm September 11th is my birthday.
Oh, you're a Virgo.
There you
Oh,
go.
big Virgo
that's
energy.
crazy.
Okay,
This
that
a
makes
Virgo
sense.
right here, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. That make a little bit of sense. I'm asking because your want to be in like a monogamous relationship is really refreshing. And a lot of times you see people saying the exact opposite and not understanding the value of, partnership and being with another person. So to go as far as to hire a matchmaker,
Yeah.
I think that's like, that says a lot.
It
That
does.
says a
It
lot.
shows intention too.
That's exactly why I did it, is because you know there's intent,
Yes.
and I've found within myself that the casuality of dating is not for me. I don't want to be the key to me, and the key to what makes me happy is genuine connection. The like
That's me.
90% of the friends that I have in my life, I've known for 20 years or plus. They stick with me. They know me. There is that connection. Those relationships take just as much effort as a romantic relationship. You have to nurture them.
Yeah.
And I care about knowing somebody and not just, oh, who can I go get a beer with, or who can I go party with, and I approach my love life the same way. And, I was lucky enough to, meet somebody that's like, God damn, this is refreshing. This is beautiful, and then we fed off of that. So you hold out and you question yourself sometimes, like, why am I this way? Why am I that way? But the true value of what something substantial and fulfilling and truly like in your heart where you feel it, that just holds so much more weight, in my life than, well, this was fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were going through the process, and I'm specifically saying when you were going through the process because I'm certain what you want or need out of a person has changed. What did you need or ask for when you were going through the process?
Okay, I will clarify. When I was going through the process, I never just specifically said I want some white girl or like some blonde white girl. I don't know how that came up or how that was. I don't know if that was an editing thing where maybe I answered a different question or. But really, all the main components of what I said that I wanted was somebody that will see my heart, that has a good heart, that has these types of values. Family is hugely important to me. That could see themselves in a similar path. And, I outlined the path that I saw for myself. And just genuine, I think there's a couple core characteristics that will branch out to other things.
Yeah.
If those are met. And then there's always flexibility. There's no one definition of, hey, I have this, that. Like I've learned, forget the lists.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Forget the list. You don't need to check something off. You need to feel something, and you need to have that feeling reciprocated.
Yeah, we talk about the list a lot especially when we go off on our tangents, because I think a big problem that we see with the singles of today is that everything is more geared towards checking a box, and more geared towards making sure that they find somebody who fulfills wishes of other people, making sure they are Instagrammable, making sure they are this height, making sure that, you know what I mean? That's kind of how it's like. It's a business. Like you're in the restaurant business, so a lot of times they'll say make sure the food is Instagrammable, right? Make sure the place is something that when people walk in, they immediately want to take out their phones, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how people are dating now. They're dating to make sure that their spouse is like that.
And that's a really good. So I actually I shut down the restaurant, so I'm no longer in it. But it's a perfect analogy because, yeah, that's what draws people in, right? That's the allure of, here's this picture. Here's why I should go there. I should go there because it looks good, or it portrays something that I want to show that I'm living, or whatever. But what you want, a successful business, you want a successful restaurant.
Yes.
Is a picture going to keep you coming back? No.
Yeah.
That atmosphere.
Yep.
The service that you get. So how you're treated, right? The food, the quality of the food. Are you walking out of that restaurant with diarrhea, or
For real.
or are you coming in there and being like, oh my God, I can't make that at home.
Yep.
So it's a fulfillment, it's the service, how you're treated, it's the atmosphere, and all of those elements play into something sustainable.
Yes.
Not just, you want presentation because that's just the basic expectation nowadays.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it, and that's something you don't necessarily think about, but that's something you feel.
Talking about feelings, we got to meet your mom early on in the season, and she seemed excited for you, but also worried about the process or the journey that you were about to embark on.
Yeah.
How does mom feel today?
Oh, today is not even a comparable moment. She was excited to be a part of it. She'll support me. That's the biggest thing. And the biggest thing is she has seen me when I'm in my worst, and, some people have seen like, oh, she's hysterical, she's crying, but because she knows me to the point where she knows I'm putting a lot out there, and I'm opening myself up to hurt.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't want to see me be hurt. So, I mean, comparing then to now, I could say the first day that I introduced her to my current girlfriend, I could see her eyes light up.
Oh, wow.
She's texted me. She texts my girlfriend now, like constantly, not constantly, but
she's keeping up.
She can sense. She's like, literally a couple days ago, I think I got a text saying, it's refreshing to see you happy again.
Yeah.
It's heartwarming. I know, and I've prayed for this my whole life, for you to find somebody that will be with you and that will stand by you. And it's not a matter of hope. She sees it,
Which is
and
good.
she sees how I am, and she sees, my girlfriend, and she sees those little gestures that she makes towards my mom. Checking in on, like, she holds me accountable.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so there's no comparison. It's not even
That's good to hear. I'm just curious, how did your mom feel about Madison when she met her?
oh Christ.
Not okay.
We gotta go there, baby.
I honestly, I don't, there was nothing significant where I mean, again, keep in mind, this is almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I there's nothing that actually sticks in my head where it's how does she feel about Madison. I know her feelings were generated mainly off of me and me being she's worried about me, my vulnerability. And how could you do, like, I mean, she's from a different time. She's, my parents are much older than your average person of my age.
Joe's parents is old too.
They are.
They gonna beat me up for saying that.
They are though.
But it gives you, it instills a set of values, that are,
That is so true.
Yeah, because I think that's a part of how I move, in relationship and things like that too. Like I was just raised by older parents. And so like you kind of want to recreate what you see, even if it's like unintentional.
no.
And my parents had like old school ways, and they still married to this day. They've been married forever.
Yeah, 50
they,
years.
They got a routine, and sometimes I try to bust them out of that routine because they so locked into the routine. They a little too locked into the routine. Like go on vacation, do something else.
Right,
But
right.
so I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It took a lot for her. I mean, she was against it very, very adamantly. From the time I told her that I was like interviewing for the show.
Oh.
Because I mean,
See,
I was raised Catholic, and this
Yeah.
is against the whole Catholic practice. Like, you don't just do something like this. And then, so it was a lot for her. It was a lot for a lot of people in my family.
Did you get the impression as you're going through this process that you may have been taking it seriously, but maybe other people weren't? Like you're going into this wanting to be married and just work through things, and then maybe like, are you going through it actively? Like while you're walking the days, like you might not be here for the things that I'm here for.
I don't dwell on things that I can't control.
Okay.
I know my intentions, just in life in general. In me focusing on something that I'm speculating on, that the reality is I'll never get the answer for this or this or this. So I'm not going to focus my energy there. I'll focus on things that I can control. And my one of my philosophies is that time will show everything. Time will show the truth, and intentions and everything. So, and you cannot go into any relationship at all with a closed mentality, because I mean, a lot of people enter and start dating, and with a wall up.
Yes.
And how do you expect a positive result in a long-term lasting relationship if you've got this wall up and you're not your true self? Be you, and you're either accepted or you're not. Not everybody needs to accept you.
I know it's been 2 years for you all, but for us, it's still kind of relatively new. I know for our audience, one of the things that we were getting, I've been literally fighting for my life in the comments, because my big thing is that I personally feel like you were shortchanged, and and even if it's just shortchanged, like who knows, you get to know her and you don't like her, whatever, you move on, right? But I think you were even shortchanged in the getting to know process as well. A lot of our audience feels like you knew that she was not interested in you. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not stupid. It's you know when something is healthy and when something is not. All I can, like, again, the only thing is, all I can do is control my actions. I don't need to, air dirty laundry. I don't need
Yeah.
to diminish somebody else. I don't need to call somebody out on their flaws publicly, to raise myself out or up, or to uh, make it seem like I'm in the right. I don't really care if I come across as right or not, because there
I
is no
don't
right.
care.
There's
Right.
no right and wrong in these situations.
Yeah.
Um, you live the experience, you learn from it, you grow, and that's all you can do. It's
It's just kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't
exactly.
really love the notion, because I've seen people say that in the comments, and I typically ignore it, because I don't,
Trust me.
because when I commit to going in, then it's like a, now I'm committed, so I gotta pick and choose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to ignore it. But the reason why it bothered me is because we will kill somebody for jumping into this process and not going through the process and being committed to it, regardless of what their spouse is doing. We've seen it happen in the past, right? Hell, we saw it happen early on in this season. So my feeling about it is, we, at the very least, as a viewer, typically we just want whoever decides to sign up for this to trust the process, to show up every day, to go through the little thing, the little card games that Dr. Pia and Pastor Kyle give you, the couples, and to show up to the dates and to do all of the things that the quote unquote experts are having them do. And I
Yeah.
felt like you did that, right? So to me, it mattered not what you knew or didn't know about, Madison being all in or being all
Right.
out, because if it was anybody else, we hold you accountable for what you do and your actions, and you signed up to go through the process for however many weeks it is until decision day. So that's
Yeah.
why I take issue with people who get in the comments and they're, well, he should have did this and he should have did that, and it's just like, do y'all want people to show up and actually be committed to the process or not?
Yeah. I mean, if it was as simple as, and I will say, contractually, there's nothing that kept me there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could, day one, I could have been like, push
Yeah.
off. There's nothing contractually, but you sign up for an intent, right? And maybe I should clarify, because I didn't even know some of this. I just found out in a interview last week where more people than I thought were actually recruited to be on the show.
Yes, that's a big
Um,
thing. Like
I've
through
been
the
I
noticing
dating
didn't
that
know
too.
apps
I
that.
and
don't like
everything like
that. I
that.
don't like that, but I've been seeing that too.
I didn't realize um, that, let's say, demographic of recruitment versus signed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it just boils down to, I want to be the best person that I could be, because that's all I know how to be. And if it favors me positively, then shit, I there you go. But if
Mm-hmm.
not, at least I could say, well, no, I don't want to be an asshole about things, so I maintain conduct, I've got tattoos that basically say things like maintain modesty, fight for what you believe. Um, and those values are instilled, and it's, what am I going to do?
Literally.
I'm a man that, I'll control my commitments. I'll honor my commitments. And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And
Fine.
I think that's what this essentially is. It's really a test and commitment, not just to somebody else, but I think moreover to yourself. You
Right.
go through this process and you say that you're going to do something, and it's
Yeah.
just like at being who you are you going to complete that and see that through?
Right.
So while you're going through the process, you all are still dating one another, you and Madison. Like, you're dating and going out?
Outside of filming,
Yeah.
yeah. I was told, this is what we got to find. So I would, I'm a part of the
Yeah,
show.
you're
Like,
in a part of it.
yeah, I don't necessarily, I'm not just doing it for the show. So I would make those efforts outside of filming as well.
I mean, I thought we saw you make the biggest effort when you went to go get some Invisalign and you went to change your wardrobe and all of that stuff. That was more effort than I thought anybody because Invisalign hurt like hell. So
Oh
when you
God,
did
Joe,
that,
we know.
So
I
I
was
did
telling
stop wearing them like this very same day the retreat shit happened,
good.
because that shit's annoying, and
It really is.
I still
And
got my little tooth.
And you know what? As a woman with a gap, I think that like we're going to be like everybody's going to be trying to revert back. We have character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like what
yeah.
people don't get. Like a lot of times, like we love the big beautiful teeth. Don't get me wrong. Joe got them. They big as hell, and I love them. But I do love like when I see people and they just they're just themselves.
Yeah. Plus, I had to get my teeth fixed. They
Oh
was
my
jacked
God.
up.
Okay, Joe. Enough.
They was jacked up. They was. If y'all see our high school pictures, you know.
I want to know, like, as you're going through this process, you get to the retreat and you're met with this information. I know Michelle at this time is not the Michelle we know now. Like, we've gotten to, she's kind of really done a 180 and probably based on seeing herself on TV and everything, like, and just reconciling some things. But during the process, she might not have been the funnest person to deal with day to day. As she's telling you this information, are you in your mind taking it with a grain of salt because you're recognizing who the messenger is as well?
No, I think her representation was storyline based. Um,
Okay.
I did get a chance
Oh,
to.
so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I did get a chance to see. I mean, she was like because all the whole group would get together. The whole group would go dancing, or the whole group would go, have little nights out here and there. And Michelle was fun. She was social. She was. You could tell when she's in a much more like social mood. She was a. I mean, she's not just like a stick in the mud.
I got that from her as well.
And I could tell she's been going through a lot. And she's vocalized it. I mean, that's how I can tell. She's vocalized it like outside of filming, not just to me, but to the group as a whole. And when I heard those concerns at the retreat, something clicked in my head, that, maybe I have like the blinders on and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Was the retreat as tense as it felt when we were watching it? Like you being there, like with the Ikechi and,
Yeah, because it seemed like it was
Michelle.
a bomb going off every other minute.
Yeah.
No, it was very quick. I was there less than like 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it was basically you get there the first night, I made dinner for everybody.
And bought your seasoning.
Which it
We
seemed,
saw.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those
we
seasons.
knew you was a real one when we saw the seasonings come out the bag, and we was like,
yeah.
okay. And you was
No.
always. It seemed like you was always cooking for people too.
Exactly. He's
That's how I show my love. That's one of
That's
my
how-
love languages,
That's my love
I love
language.
that.
Exactly.
So no, it was not as tense. Like the first night was fun. Everybody's like singing karaoke, having
that's
drinks, laughing. Then the next day was filming. Everybody goes off in their own little world. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, now I'm like, what the hell is going on? So it was a very, very quick situation. So
Early on, because I know they've tried to beat the timeline like a dead horse. Did you have anything, any inkling, any? Sometimes we see something and we like, I'm gonna put that book back on the shelf. I'm tripping, right? Did you have any inkling like that something was going on between David and Madison earlier on in the process?
no, the only thing that I felt was just disinterest. So no, I saw enough within both of their characters, and I vocalized. If there's ever a point that I'm wasting my time, tell me to shove off. So I vocalize,
And we saw you say things like that.
yeah. So it was community. So it just didn't register to me. And it is what it is. I thought I was just going to walk out of there, couple new friends, the whole cast is a friend, and we'll all be each other's biggest advocates. I'll be your wingman, this kind of thing. It's a shared bond just being a part of that show. That's how I kind of foresaw it in the long run. But what are you gonna do?
I know personally when I watched the scene, I was very big on, I felt like Juan, everybody was kind of like stifling your energy. And I just
Really?
felt like,
Yeah, we thought
Okay.
that they didn't really let you like crash out like you know what I mean, like you deserve to. You know what I mean? It felt like everybody was kind of trying to sit you down when really I felt like you deserved you're human. And I felt like the anger that you were showing was human emotion, and I felt like you deserved to have that moment. Full
and
stop.
we're watching you from our perspective, we're watching you as a viewer, like literally piece things together
Yes.
in real time.
Yeah, very true.
And you know what I mean? So rightfully when you're piecing things together in real time and you feel a sense of like, being bamboozled or run amok or whatever the case may be, there's a natural response to that that
Yeah.
I felt warranted more.
A crash out. A
Yeah, because
full
I said we
blown.
should be calling people funky dog head ass bitches.
Yes,
All
yes.
that. Like, what is going on in here?
So I'm going to play into a little bit of that mentality, right?
Yeah.
I remember sitting by the fire, and homeboys telling me this, and I'm like, I don't remember a lot of it. In my brain, like my eyes were just red, and I don't care how aggressive or how angry or how anything I am. I do things calculated. I do things in a fashion that I've got too much in this life
Yep.
to risk. I'm not gonna be the guy that puts hands out on somebody from anger. If I have to defend somebody, that's a different situation because I'm lawyered up like a mother trucker.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
yeah,
Right.
but that's when it needs to be. But I will never be the one that is just angry, and
Uninitiated.
that's my outlet is violence. Like I know how to control. I know how to. I have coping mechanisms. I've been in therapy for 80% of my life. I have those means of control, and my means of control at that point was I'm walking away. I can't be here. You say the wrong thing, and then I'm going to throw a flaming stick at your face. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
And a lot of people comment on he punched cabinets.
Yeah, like that's the
I
best thing
didn't
that you
think
like. That was the more productive thing to do rather than hit a person.
I'll give you the thought process prior to actually going. I remember I slammed the door and I felt so guilty because I slammed the door.
Because you're a nice
Um,
person.
Oh,
Because I would have broke that door off the hinges.
we know, Jim.
I know it's not my house. I'm
That
conscious
part
of
too.
that.
That's true.
It's an
I wouldn't want to pay
Airbnb.
for the door, so I probably wouldn't have did because
It's an Airbnb.
Yeah, yeah.
And then from the time frame that I slammed the door to walking into the kitchen, okay, it registers. It's an Airbnb. I know to sign up for it, the show. I know they have insurance. Okay. Worst case scenario, I know I build cabinets. I build houses. I know what things cost.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
door handle or no, a door,
Okay.
the cabinet door maximum is going to be $200.
Yeah.
Okay. I know insurance is going to cover it. Okay. Not a big deal. Now, if that doesn't cover it, I'll throw you some money. Just
Yeah.
get the
Right.
door replaced and whatever.
Right.
It's not a big deal. Like there is an analytical process that goes through my brain. Like I've got different diagnoses and stuff like that where like I think like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to. Like that's the way my brain functions. Everything is calculated. I don't put people at risk. I never will. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, we want to
It's
give
That
you
makes
room
sense,
to, because
yeah.
I feel like a lot of times you all are on these, whether it's the after party or you're on the show and you get you're probably explaining yourself full out,
Yeah.
but you get chopped up so much that what you
Virtual.
intend to say is not what comes off. So we
Yeah.
really want to give you like room to kind of breathe a bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're asking you these questions because we want to know as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to add a little bit of insight to everyone. So your thought process behind that is really important. But I'm going to undress you. I'm going to air you out. And then I can leave and I'll feel a little bit better once I get in the car and I'm on my way where I need to
Yeah.
be. But I did feel like even if you had understood that there was disinterest, that you were entitled to transparency.
Yeah.
Just based on you all being in this process together. And I think, unfortunately, when we're watching it as viewers, we could say like, oh, well, he should have known, not me, but them. He should have known this or whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is you're trusting that when somebody embarks on this journey, at the very least with each other, I can get some transparency, because none of us know on the outside looking in. We don't know what you guys are going through.
Yeah.
So you almost have to lean. You create a special bond in my mind with the people around you because you all are experiencing something so specific.
Yeah, unique. Yeah.
Unique.
So the one thing that nobody's entitled to shit. I mean, you put your trust in certain places, throughout your life, right? And people's actions will dictate, do you retain that trust?
Mm-hmm.
Is it deserved? Is it not? And actions are the only thing that could give you guidance on, you no longer have that trust. And then I make a decision whether I offer it or not. Nobody's entitled to anything. It's reality TV, I mean, we all know that there's a part of this world that is just, how do I do this? How do I leverage this visibility? How do I monetize whatever? That's a risk. I mean, my profession is basically analytics. Like, risk assessment is a part of that. And you factor that into your decision as you go day by day.
How did you feel about the involvement of the experts? A lot of times we'll watch and we'll feel like we want to see more sessions, or we want to see couples, that are going through a rough week and a rough time be able to call. Because when we first got married, our therapist was on speed dial. You know what I
Yes.
mean? We was calling her in the middle of the night, like, okay, at tomorrow at 9 a.m., you need to be ready to go.
No,
You know what I
really.
mean? So how did you guys feel like you had, the same support? Like, how did you feel about that?
I mean, I'll preface with saying I think there was about 4 episodes cut. So that's 8 hours of footage cut.
Wow. Yeah.
My involvement with the experts was fine. It was great. I mean, a lot that we discussed, a lot of the time spent was not aired, because it just wasn't relevant to where they're at in those situations. There's a lot more depth, and it's not just we're talking to them for 15 minutes. We're there talking.
So y'all are having real sessions. You peeling back the onion. You getting into stuff. We talking about your childhood and preschool.
There was a lot of questions, and there was a lot of effort on their part to try to understand, why is this? How did it get to this point? What do you need? So at least that, from my perspective, I do know that it was kind of the formality of the process. But because, I've been in therapy my whole life, if I'm like, hey, I need to talk to this dude,
Yeah.
I just ask, and it doesn't hurt to ask anything.
100%.
Like, I mean, I would ask for cheeseburgers, like, just because. So nothing hurts to ask. But from my experience, it was developmental.
You go through this process, you have this blow up of a relationship, what can you look back on and say, this was to me the best part of this process?
I did get to know a lot of good people. Juan is a solid dude. He's
I
been
be
there.
eating wine up.
She do. And I think
I
that
be
that track.
eating them up, eating them up,
He
we
does.
getting them together.
But I
Right.
think that tracks that he's a solid dude. So I'm glad that you
He
said
does
that,
give
because
me
He
time.
really
I've
is.
got that from him. You know what I
And
mean?
you asked me earlier, he was trying to stifle me. He's defensive. He was trying to defend me because he knows I could respond a certain way, and he's trying to quell that. And again, we've only known each other for 6-7 weeks at that point, so he doesn't know the level of control I have. But we knew each other fairly well at that point, and he was trying to be like, Alan, you're on TV. Like, at the end of the day,
That's
it's
what
you're
I
on
was
Looking
TV.
out for you a little
Don't
bit.
do something you're going to regret. Don't,
Yes.
Yeah.
don't. Um,
I was like,
and-
crash out.
No, we was, because we wanted that release for you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
But
Fuck
that was the biggest. That was the biggest joy is, Thomas and Camille, after the show, before after parties aired, MM and Brandon. Like I remember one of my first race days on the track. It was a rainy, pouring rain, and I invited them all. We were gonna have like a barbecue. I'll take you for a race around the track, and I was like, the weather turned out shitty. You guys could go home if you want. Not a big deal. Thanks for coming out. And they stayed with me for 6 hours.
Oh, they had a time. I love that.
That's cool.
And we had a little canopy, and we just cooked wet burgers, and we raced the car in the wet pouring rain.
I love that.
And knowing those people, that they've become a valued friendship.
Good.
So,
I love that. I figured just from watching you that you were in the cars, right?
oh, for sure.
I just want to confirm that you are actually in the cars and you also race.
Yeah, no, we've got my Jaguar. It's a lot of people say it's this or that. I just had a new engine built, forged internals, upgraded supercharger.
Let's go.
I'll take on Audi R8 V10s on the track. I bought my car specifically because I knew I wanted rear-wheel drive. I build it how I want it. And so I had it sent out to LA, new engine put in there, fresh tune. I'm part of Chicago Auto Club West. So we do a lot of car shows. What is it? Gingerman, Autobahn, Road America.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tracks out in the Midwest within an hour and a half of here. So we've got a couple groups, me and my dad. We've got a couple cars that we race.
I love that. So if you get a chance, you got to roll up to F1 in Vegas and come kick it with us for a little
I'm going this November.
Oh, well,
Oh,
we
okay.
are
Well, you
too.
got. I'm about to say,
Yeah.
you got to hit us. Hit us
We've
when you
been
are here.
really
Yeah,
into
yeah.
F1. We've
Listen,
been really
I've been
getting
so
into it.
locked in. They put the show on Netflix, and now I'm watching it almost
Yes.
every night.
Really?
And now I'm going
We're
back
in.
to previous seasons on the F1 Netflix show. I
Okay.
love it. I'm super locked in.
Yeah, I'm not a sport ball guy, but
Yeah.
you put me in front of F1, drag racing,
Oh,
NASCAR,
let's go.
motocross, anything like that. I'm all down for it. So yeah, me and my girl, we got plans for November.
Okay, hit us
Yes,
out.
hit us up because at the very
Yeah,
end
we'll
we'll go
link.
to
We'll
dinner.
link.
So all of this said and done, what is your takeaway from this experience, Alan?
It's a good question. My takeaway is that I've done a lot of weird things in my life. I've always been that guy that'll just do something, and it's because I trust myself, and I love who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and if people see my authentic self as something other than I don't give 10 shits.
Period.
I put myself out there. it was a fun experience, but it was marginally impactful in my life.
That was my yes. I was curious. Like it feels like it was such a blip. I know the journey. The what's long is like this rollout of these episodes and the after shows and this and that. Yeah. I know that makes it feel like such a long period of time in your life, but that's a really good point that it's marginal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have been through a lot, in your individual lives, and how did you get to where you are now? Does this resonate? Does this change who you are? No. If anything, it reinforces it. And everything that happened for a reason. Yeah. And if all that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, and I'm thankful for it. And I wouldn't have the woman I'm with now.
Period. Shout out to her.
What's her zodiac sign?
Oh God.
She's probably like.
What's her birthday, or just the day in the
November? Oh shit! I'm gonna get in trouble. November 22nd, I want to say.
Oh, she almost Scorpio Sag.
She's on a walk with the dog. Never mind.
Yeah, she a Scorpio Sag. Okay, I'm just curious. Oh, so you having fun? Good. Is she funny?
Okay. So the scary part is she is like almost identical to me in a lot of different ways. If she wasn't walking the dog, I'd have her come say hi to you guys. But,
yeah. Somebody got to take care of Luffy because running amok out here.
No, Luffy was possessed by the demons in that house. That's what was going on.
He is trained. He is neutered. Yeah. He's a very loving and good boy. So everybody that says he's a demon.
Exactly.
He probably happy to be home and not around all these people.
I think between your mom low key is a psychic. she was so worked up. I truly believe she knew.
How about that?
And I think the same thing about Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy probably did.
Luffy was like, "Ooh, girl."
Dogs can sense stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it practically. Like, you have a dog that's a puppy that's only known my condo, right?
Yeah.
Now you put him in a new apartment, and then there's a TV crew. There's all these people. How's he going to respond? Is he going to sit there and like make porridge? No.
Right.
No, exactly. Luffy became a star in himself. You got to start making content.
I didn't even know that the dog had his own. Yo, for real. Listen, you got to get Luffy a page. One of our friends, I didn't even know this. One of our friends has a Instagram page for her dog, right? So we go to her house a couple weeks ago. I'm just sitting there petting the dog, having a drink because I love the dog, and it was just that type of night. She posts a video of me and the dog. The video is going viral.
Yeah.
I didn't ignored it. Yeah. The video had 100-something thousand views. And I'm like, so you got to set Luffy up real good.
We got to set Luffy up real good
get some brand
all the foods.
I don't have the energy.
It is a lot of energy, Alan.
I don't have any notifications on anything.
Yeah.
Like I removed myself from some of the groups on social media. Mm-hmm. I've got enough going on with my life where hard I don't want differences, stupid shit, to be a cause of debate or concern in my relationship. Mm-hmm. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
I don't need people. I get pissed. Like, I saw, now that my girlfriend we just kind of did a soft or hard. And people are just assholes.
Yeah,
yes,
angry.
They are for no reason.
And I want to get in there and be like,
no, don't do it.
She's my Zen. And she's like, why do you care? You know it's not right? And she puts me back in a point of, yeah, you're right. What am I going to get out of responding? What am I going to get out of being that guy?
Yeah, because some people just live to be angry and they just want to agitate. You know what I mean? That's why when I see certain ones, I'm like, I go back and forth with people who have interesting thoughts.
Yes.
Who you know what I mean? Who not just trying to, spew hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've gotten better because I used to get in there and sling hate right the fuck
Oh, I
back.
believe it.
Oh
I
my
I don't
believe
do
it.
that no more. I don't do it no more though, don't I? Because something there, she
Yes.
got to be like, we got to respond. I only respond to the good people now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get you out of here because we don't want to take up too much of your time. But first of all, we're foodies, so to hear that you was in the restaurant business, that just made us like you even more. I'm
That's
supposed
true.
to be in Chicago for some work. Next month, you got to tell us what's the good restaurants right now in Chicago, because Chicago is a culinary capital anyway. So give us a recommendation.
I'm one of these people. I don't remember shit. I remember my experiences, and then I'm like, I do. So I've been telling. I'm like, one night there's this omakase, like beautiful. Like I think there's like 6 seats along the sushi bar, and then 3 tables. The whole place, the whole restaurant may seat like 20 people tops.
Ooh, intimate. I love
But it's literally like you're walking in this little hole in the wall Japan sushi place, and
Nice.
it's a curated omakase menu. You can order here and there.
Oh, but you can sit down and they'll just feed you little like
Yeah,
bite.
it's like
I
a
love that.
17 course little plate thing. But here's the thing: I took my buddy Joe over there for his birthday one year, and I want to go back. I have no idea where it's at. I don't know what it's called,
I'ma
but I
find it.
know
Don't worry.
I know if
I'ma
I
figure
look
it
it
out.
up. I know if I look it up, it'll resonate.
Yeah.
So I know the spots, but I'm like the guy that like I just drive there and I know it's there because I know it's there.
Yeah.
Before you head out to Chicago, I'll send you. I'll do a little research. I'll send
I'll
you.
hit you up. I'm gonna find it. I'll figure it out.
If
We
you
go
want a
get some
hot dog,
sake.
you go to Gene and Jude's. That's what
I
you
don't do the hot dog. She's a
I
hot dog.
love
What?
hot dogs.
Yeah, I don't do hot
No,
dog.
I'm not talking Chicago hot dog. I'm talking like this
Like
is
a real like
Like with the onions,
like a
and the
gourmet.
chili.
That's her vibe. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm thinking about it now.
I know.
You can't
Don't
do
get
this.
her-
All
don't
right.
get her
All right,
excited.
we gotta stop talking about food, y'all. I'm
know.
pregnant, and then in my brain, I feel like you have to get me a hot dog now.
I just got her hot dog straight out the Costco line.
Oh my God,
And it was
you
good.
those are
really
some
did.
good hot dogs.
They
They was.
It
So
was
was that pizza. That
wonderful.
pizza's legit
I ain't
too.
gonna lie.
Shout out to Costco.
Well, I'll tell you before you guys give me like a week heads up, and I'll send you a few recommendations.
I got you. Yeah, it's not
Okay,
too much.
great.
So I got you.
Alan, it was really such a pleasure. I'm so glad we got to see you kind of like flourish
Yes,
on this
yeah.
season. I am kind of pissed that we didn't get to like know you more. Like even just like the things about, liking cars and learning a little bit more about Luffy.
The
and-
houses, building
Yes.
the house.
They didn't show anything about the rest. We did a whole episode. Like I fed the whole crew and everything at one of our. We had a vegan. I had a vegan pizza place where we made all our own ingredients. I could teach you some recipes.
That's cool. See?
So they didn't show it because they cut the episodes. So, but I got spots.
Nice.
So before we get out here, I'm gonna ask you one last question. What's the seasoning? And we saw you come with your seasoning in your Ziploc bag.
That's
a
right.
Ziploc bag got me in the chokehold too. What is a seasoning you cannot live without?
I mean, you need some Lowry's.
Come on, come to the cookout then. Go ahead, invite him to get his invitation to the cookout ready to go.
You need some Lowry's.
100%.
There's this one I got from Texas. I was out there working. I can't think of the name, but it's kind of like a Cajun. It's spicy though. It like
I love that.
I used to grow my own Carolina Reaper peppers.
No way.
Oh yeah.
See,
it was
I'm
a
the hot.
Are you?
I'm the hot pepper guy.
peach Carolina
do
Reaper
yeah.
all day.
That's one of the hottest peppers, y'all. Just in case you don't know.
Come on. Yeah, your face
Yeah.
melts.
Oh yeah, I need that.
But so I like spice. So I had a few good ones. Then you need your staples, like your onion powder,
Yes.
garlics, and
Yeah.
that shit ain't cheap.
No,
you
for
get some smoked paprika.
I know.
It's $10.99.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's too damn high today
That's really why people not seasoning their food.
because they can't
They
afford the
can't
season.
afford it. Okay. But thank you, Alan, so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on the Connor's couch.
Yes.
We wish you all the best. We're going to keep the lines of communication open, okay?
Yes.
Especially
sure.
on the food front. And we'll see you later.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
man.
much. It was really a pleasure sitting down with Alan. I'm so glad he joined us today on the Connor's couch.
Yes.
But that's not the end of this, okay? We are going through and we're chatting with more peeps from over on Married at First Sight season 18. So I hope you guys are super excited about that. We got a real special one coming next week.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Again, do not stop leaving your questions that you would ask. We don't want to give them to you prematurely, who everybody is. The surprise element is 90% of it.
100%.
What movie is that from? A lot of y'all not going to know because some of y'all is a little young.
Hell, I don't know.
But what movie is that from? The surprise element is 90% of it. I'll give you a hint. Samuel L. Jackson said it. We are so excited that can bring this kind of content to you guys. So make sure you guys are commenting, letting us know how you feel. Give us a little feedback. Y'all know y'all are producers. Y'all love to tell us what the hell to do any damn way.
100% of the time, y'all do.
Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph. And this was the Conner's Couch.
Peace.